One-to-ones are not the only way you'll engage with the people you manage, but they are a really important part of how you'll build your relationships with them. One-to-ones are a great time to give feedback and to hear how your report is doing, and also just a great way to get to know them better. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips that will help you make the most of your one-to-ones. Hey, how's it going? This is Scruffy Leadership, a YouTube channel about management and leadership aimed primarily at software engineers. My name's Ben, and I've been a leader and a manager in the tech industry in the UK and the US for over 25 years. Tip 1. This isn't your meeting. It belongs to the report. It's a mistake to think that this is your meeting, that you should be setting the agenda and using it as a way to impart knowledge to your report. There will be times when you have something you need to bring to a one-to-one, like feedback. But most of the time, most of the content of your one-to-ones should be driven more by your reports than by you. Why is that? Well, they're the ones who know what they need. So, for example, I use a shared document in which we take notes on our one-to-ones. Each one of these is a private document between me and that report, not to be shared with anyone else. And I encourage my reports to add agenda items in advance. So use those documents to track actions that I or my report have agreed to so we can keep each other accountable. And if you come along to a one-to-one and your report hasn't added anything to the agenda and they don't have anything particular to talk about and you don't have anything particular to talk about, then you should use the one-to-one to get to know your report better. I'll say more about this in one of the following tips. Tip 2. Don't use one-to-ones to talk about project updates. It's a really easy pattern to fall into. Particularly if you're relatively new to management, you probably find it easier to talk about the status of a project, technical details, than to talk about the more complex stuff. Don't do this. If you need a project update, make that a separate meeting. One-to-ones should be about your report, their career and their growth, and the things they need from you. There will be times when what they need from you is project related. Perhaps they need you to unblock something for them, for example. Then you'll need to talk about the project. But think of that as a useful rule of thumb. If they need your help with something related to a project, then yes, talk about the project then. But otherwise, don't use one-to-ones just to get a status update. Tip 3. Talk about your report's career. This should really be the main purpose of one-to-ones. Over a period of a year or two, you and your report should be able to look back on the conversations you had in one-to-ones and see how those conversations helped set the direction for their role and their progression. This might mean talking explicitly about promotions and opportunities for new projects and roles, but it often means talking more abstractly about your report. In the early days, you should be focusing on just understanding them. What drives them? What do they want from their career? Do they even know? If they tell you they don't know, probably it's the case that by asking the right questions, you can find out that they do at least know enough about what they do or don't want to be useful. For example, are they interested in leadership? Do they want to become a deep specialist in some technical area? Or is their career aspiration to start up their own company? Ideally, you should have a relationship with your reports with enough psychological safety that they'll be comfortable telling you all these things. And you don't have to try to hand them everything they want on a platter, but the more you know, the more you'll be able to help them. Look out for opportunities for them, advocate for them. Tip 4. Ask what you can do to help. Much of the time, if you ask, what can I do to be helpful out of the blue, your report will probably think for a while and say, nothing right now. But if you make this a habit, asking them what you can do to help every time you have a one-to-one, they'll get used to the idea that if they need your help, you'll be ready for it. And they'll prepare for the meeting in that way. And be honest with them. If they ask for your help with something that's out of your hands, point them in the right direction to the right person. You don't have to be the superhero that single-handedly solves every problem. But if they do ask for help with something that you can help them with, you need to be ready to provide that help. The kinds of things I think managers should be particularly likely to help with are often about organizational navigation, unblocking things, intervening in a difficult negotiation with another team, giving advice on who to talk to about something or what the kind of magic formula is for getting a particular thing done in your particular organization. As well as asking them how you can help, ask what you could do differently. Ask what you could do more of or less of. You can ask them, if you could wave a magic wand and change something about the way I manage you or our relationship, what would it be? Maybe you won't be able to grant their wish, but unless you know what they wish for, you almost certainly can't. Tip 5. Be present and don't cancel the meeting. One-to-ones with your reports should be pretty much the most important meetings in your calendar, or at least it should feel that way to your reports, and it shouldn't be too far from being true for you either. So don't show up late and don't cancel one-to-ones at short notice. Move them around if you need to. This doesn't mean you have to go ahead with every one-to-one, by the way. It's quite reasonable to tell your report that since the one-to-one is their meeting, they can cancel it if they want to. But don't accept them cancelling it every time. If they try that, then start being explicit about the fact that you want to use the time to talk about their career. Also, don't play on your phone while your report talks to you. I'm sure you've been there in a meeting with your manager and they clearly have more important things than you on their mind. So they're checking their email, they're sending messages, they're paying attention to their phone or their laptop and occasionally looking up to bark something at you. How does that make you feel? It probably makes you feel like you don't really matter to them, like this meeting is just something they have to tolerate. You want the opposite effect. Your reports should believe, and they should be right, that you really value meeting with them, that it's one of the most important things you do, because it's the best opportunity for you to help them grow and develop. And that's the measure of your success as a manager. One of the things you'll do in one-to-ones is give your reports feedback. If you want to know more about how to give feedback, check out this video here. And if you found the tips in this video useful, please do subscribe to the channel. I have lots more useful insights to share. And if you really found it useful, maybe hit the like button, which helps this video reach more people like you that are looking for advice on becoming a better manager. Bye. See you soon.